Too bad you wasn't at my wedding. Everybody had a fine time, and we had plenty to eat. And speaking about eating, you ought to hear the meat soup. You couldn't hear the band. And we got some beautiful presents. All kinds of silverware. Rogers 1876, Pullman, Pennsylvania Hotel, all kinds of names on them. Then they played games. They played a game called Making Faces. And the one who could make the funniest face would get the prize. Oi, was that a funny game. Mr. Goldstein went over to Mrs. Bear and says, "You win the prize." She said, "Oi, I wasn't playing." Just then the firebell rang, and we all ran home for our insurance papers. We got our papers, then we went to the fire to see who the lucky one was. One of the firemen pushed Levi away, and Levi said, "Don't get so fresh. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be working." I said, "Levi, do you know your insurance runs out on the 15th? He said, "Don't be afraid. The fire engines will run out on the 14th. Someone asked Levi if he had change of 50 cents, and he gave the fella 6 nickels and a quarter. I said, "Levi, you gave him too much change." He said, "I know it. Wait till he tries to change that quarter." Oh, before we went to the fire, I was telling you all about my wedding. Well, when no one was looking, we sneaked away and went on our honeymoon. We went to a place called Malaria Junction. It's somewhere between life and death. When my wife woke up in the sleeping car, she said, "Oi, Abram, I dreamt last night you bought me an automobile." And I said, "You're going to ruin me with your extravagant dreams." Then I told her I had a dream. I said, "I dreamt I saw a magician turn a cow into a horse." She says, "That's nothing. I've often seen you make a jackass out of yourself." Well, we were away about 2 weeks. My wife, she couldn't get a job, so we came home. And the first one we met when we got back was Mrs. Rosenberg. She said her brother was in the war, and now he's got the hickory leg. My wife says, "That's nothing. My sister's got the cedar chest." Just then Mr. Bear was running to the station house to get his wife arrested for trying to rock him to sleep. I said, "You can get your wife arrested for rocking you to sleep?" He said, "Oh, you should have seen the size of the rock." Well, my wife was some cook. I got the Pepsi. So I went to the doctor, and he told me I must drink hot water an hour before each meal. But no matter how hard I try, I can't drink it more than 10 minutes. I was afraid I was going to die. So I said to my wife, "The thing that's troubling me is when I die, how am I going to get my coat on over my wings?" She said, "The thing that you want to worry about is how you're going to get your hat on over your horns." I'm on my way to the doctor. I met Levi, and he told me he was studying languages. And just as I left him, he said, "Au revoir." I said, "What's au revoir?" He said, "That's goodbye in French language." I said, "Carbolic acid." Levi said, "What's that?" I said, "That's goodbye in any language."